look, Biff, I don't want to give too many details here, but the other day, my wife was she's just relentless. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. I'm wet. Give it to me. I'm wet. Finally, I said, hey, just because you forgot your umbrella doesn't mean I have to give up mine.
Why do we do this every week?
Actually, it's been a few weeks. You've got a reprise from
This is
the
true. This
warning.
is true. So true.
You know what? This is
Okay.
just for you. Just for you. Biff, what fish goes best with peanut butter?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
What fish goes best with peanut butter?
What fish goes best with peanut butter, Chuck?
Jellyfish.
Oh my god! Yeah, I'm gonna try something new. I'm gonna try something new.
Okay. All right.
Wait. Joe. You know, if you say the name 3 times, they're supposed to appear.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it works!
Wow.
Oh my god, it works!
Wow. Well, I guess I can go now. You guys can take over from here. I pressed record and got it started. So let me know how it turns out. I'll be listening.
I know how it'll turn out. It'll be a finale, and it'll be 2 minutes long.
That's right.
Oh, but enough about our sex life.
Hello,
2
Evan.
minutes. That's a long time.
Well, we did it twice, and I got a snack in between. Hello, everybody. It's been a few weeks. I'm Jacques.
This is Biff.
and I'm Joe.
So I don't know if we will have a sideshow, but I have to tell All-Star Tommy, I do owe him a Spider-Man deep dive sideshow that I will record at one point, breaking down the Tom Holland arc, as Spider-Man in the solo movies. But anyways, let's get to the biggest topic going on right now in the world, and that is after 30 years, we got a new season of Kids in the Hall.
Yeah, I did see the announcement, and did see the tweets from the various cast members, but I have yet to, where is it on?
It is on Amazon Prime.
Okay, so I can't watch it. I think
What?
I can watch it.
Oh,
I have just
okay.
about everything except for Apple TV. It's
Okay.
Apple TV and HBO, whatever. Those are the two things I don't have.
Those are the only two things I think I
No,
watch.
I mean, there's
on
other ones. I don't have like Peacock and whatever, Paramount and whatever. But yeah, of the ones that matter.
Have you seen any Kids in the Hall, Joe? The new season?
I saw the first 4 episodes. I'm trying to pace myself, not like in the bedroom.
Oh,
but I watched the first 4, and yeah, I'm so psyched that it doesn't suck. I'm so psyched that it's actually great,
dude. And it's not a reboot. It's a season 6. It's like they did 5 seasons, took a 30-year break,
a dirt nap, if you will.
And hey, look, the trailer's been out there for a month or so. At the end of the 5th season, Biff, I don't know how deep you got into Kids. They were buried, like literally dug a grave. They were buried. And this guy who, is a writer on the show, he was a bit character. I mean, his real name, Paul Bellini, heavyset guy who anytime you saw him was wearing a towel and nothing else. And
nice. Okay.
And so when the show ended, and what was it, 94? I think 95.
Okay.
Like he danced on the grave, and it's the first time he spoke. He's like, it's finally over.
Thank God that's over.
Thank God that's over. And that's it. And so the new season starts with him digging them up. And there they are, just in the same grave. It's fantastic. I'll ask you flat out, Biff. Biff, do you like to see 60-year-old guys full frontal naked?
Say yes.
Because you can't say no and like season 6 of Kids in the Hall.
Good gracious.
Namely, the first 5 minutes of the.
Goodness gracious.
I remember, being back in Fitchburg, our friend John, every couple of weeks, his dad would come by, and his neighbor was nice enough to send up a VHS set to 6 hours. So the quality was great. And they would just tape everything off Comedy Central. So we would just watch whatever Comedy Central, and it was 90% Kids of the Hall.
I would kill for those VHS tapes now.
I truly would. But I remember sitting there.
You know,
thinking,
do you have a VHS player?
Of course.
Like, yes, I got it right. I'm pointing to it.
Good, because
there.
Have you seen how much they cost now?
How crazy is that, right?
Holy cow!
But I have a VHS inside the TV that Joe gave me. What, 2 years ago? You gave me that puppy.
Yeah.
But I remember being back in Fitchburg and one day looking at, John and Dan and thinking, hey, what do you guys think, Kevin's penis is going to look like when he's jumping up and down fully naked when he's 60? And I remember now we know. Now,
Jacques, remember when you and I used to chit chat about what Dave Foley's cock might look like with gray pubes?
Oh, it just hurt. I mean, it was so good. It's funny because my boys are watching it, and it's fine.
TVMA, whatever.
Dude, no, it's fine. It's not that, dude, what they've seen, it's fine. But the bizarre stuff, the stuff that doesn't have a punchline. Have you seen the Dave Foley Fallout Shelter thing? Like, Tristan's watching that and he's like, what is this? Why are you laughing? It's like, and just looking at the TV and looking back at me, and I'm like, you just don't get it, man. You just don't get it. But dude, I don't
think he appreciates the hit song from Melanie, Brand New Key.
And somebody has a brand new key, and somebody has some roller skates. But the way that switch goes off and on from wacky morning DJ to just despair. Well, you, Joe,
I for a second I thought my TV had shut off and I was looking at my reflection.
But it's like, wow, wait a minute. Somebody let Dave Foley know he's a hell of an actor. But it's great. I watched probably 2 episodes the first couple days, and then the other day I just had a lot of stuff to do, to pack and doing this and organizing shit, and before I knew it, I had binge watched the entire season for a second time. And I think tonight when we hang up and everybody goes to bed, and I pretend like, oh, I'm just gonna do the dishes, I'll be right up, wait for everybody to fall asleep, I'm gonna watch a 2-part series, the documentary called Comedy Punks. Okay. I guess is a really good, and the people who have seen it, because it dropped today or yesterday, have made it clear it's very brutally honest, and maybe have some Kleenex around. So I'm thinking about just watching it again before I come out there. Anyways, it's great. I watch it. I did find out that yes, all the old seasons are up there. It's just kind of
Amazon?
It's kind of clunky how you have to find it, because they keep they list it. And then you click on it, it's like, oh, it's $1.95 per episode. But there's a way that you have to search it, and it's kind of convoluted, and it all comes up. And I figured out like the labyrinth, and now I watched season 5 the other day just to stay current.
Yeah, all the seasons are free with Prime, but for some reason they're listed individually by season, and then some of them, like Jacques said, are the pay version. Like if you don't have Prime, I don't know. I think Jacques is stupid.
Yeah, no argument. The only, since we last talked, I did see the latest Marvel movie, and I think I'm alone in that. I don't think you guys have seen Doctor Strange.
No. Of course. No, it's playoff season.
Yeah, that's true. It's okay. I can be honest. It's like, it's not been out long enough that I want to, give away a spoiler, but let's talk about spoilers for a second. I love Legos. My 12-year-old lives for Legos. The wall of Legos is growing by the day. I had a contractor at the house the other day who saw some of his Legos, and the guy spent about 20 minutes asking questions about it. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is great. So can we get a bathroom down here or not? But that said, it fucking sucks that the Legos hit the store for the next movie a month or two before the movie does. And based on what figures come in it or a scene, the scene it's recreating on the box, it's like, well, that's a spoiler. And it's like, yeah, a couple things were ruined for Doctor Strange for me because of his Lego obsession. But it was good. It was fun, it was we saw it opening weekend, but yeah, in a time when the theater wasn't packed because COVID's still a thing. But
no, it's not. It's gone. It's
no, that 100%.
The new thing is the monkeypox. We have a monkeypox scourge.
Did you send that to me, Joe, or was that you, Biff?
That was me.
It was you in Boston. It's like we're number one. We're number one.
I guess it was the first case. I mean, I don't know if it's the first case in the United States, but there was one reported case of monkeypox in Massachusetts. So I tweeted or texted Jacques with the article, and I said, "Not it. I'm not the one. That's not me."
So speaking of comedy specials, I know you guys have heard that Norm MacDonald left a little goodbye present for all of us.
So I hear.
Yeah, it was announced on David Spade's and Dana Carvey's podcast, Fly on the Wall, where they talk about SNL with ex-SNL crew and cast. And yeah, I guess Netflix, as part of the Netflix is a joke festival or something like that.
Right. Something like that. Yeah.
There was a screening of, they were filming like a tribute to Norm, but then at the same time, they took like a handful of the people to like a back room and showed them this taped stand-up that Norm did with his significant other. I don't know if it was wife or whatever, but
yeah.
While during lockdown, he's planning a new tour, but he was obviously, I guess he was weak and his health was failing, but he still wanted to kind of get it on tape and still work it out. Like, he wasn't giving up the fight. And and apparently they're gonna release it at some point, I think, right?
That's what I understand, right? Yeah. So
I'm pretty psyched about that. So that's I guess he knew, the end was nigh and kind of wanted to leave one little thing behind. So that's fantastic. And when does and there's a 2-part George Carlin documentary coming out that Judd Apatow did.
Yeah, I think it's coming out in a couple of weeks. I know that there's 5 George Carlin HBO specials up now on HBO Max. And man, I was there live with HBO watching it live in 1992, the Jammin' in New York special.
Wow.
And that's probably his best special of all time, in my opinion. But that, it was just awesome. It was just like that kind of awakened something in me and an appreciation of actual stand-up comedy. Like, oh, that's what real stand-up comedy is supposed to be like.
Yeah, it is one of those things I regret where I didn't see a live comedy show until, just random ones I saw in college as part of social events, but really to actually go see this person is performing, I'm going to go see that person. I didn't do that until 20 years ago because I just went to rock concerts and obviously I knew about them. I watched them on like you mentioned George Carlin. George Carlin's around 1977 or so, I think he had a HBO special, and that was the first comedy thing that I actually kind of got exposed to.
Yeah, really. I've my dad had he had Jerry Reed. He had Jerry Reed. Dude, I'm that guy. I'm telling you, I guarantee. I guarantee you, if I got to interview Weird Al, I'd be like, where do you rank Jerry Reed as because he was a huge, he was a country guy, but his songs were hilarious. I mean, absolutely fucking hilarious. And my dad had stand-up albums, lot of Bill Cosby, lot
still holds up.
You still hold. And then I'm honestly, I'm 7 or 8 and I'm listening to Steve Martin albums and stuff. But yeah, comedy specials have been huge. And then my buddy in high school, and I'll give Daryl credit, my buddy Daryl Waugh, we would go to Nick's Comedy Stop all the time. And it was 18 plus, and they didn't fucking care. fucking care. But yeah, seeing that stuff. But the interesting thing about Apatow doing this is, what was it, 2 years ago, 3 years? It was pre-pandemic, because I think I watched part of it at your house, Joe. His special on Gary Shandling that Apatow did, that Jed Apatow did, was fucking fantastic. And that story, Gary Shandling, basically, his career was largely started by George Carlin. Like that whole story about like the driving there. And am I giving anything away?
No. I'm also just reading now that the George Carlin's American Dream is actually out now on HBO Max.
The Carlin one is?
Yeah.
And so, taking a step back. Yeah. So Gary Shandling, and you tell the story about him going and meeting Carlin those 2 days in a row, Joe, because I'll fuck it up.
Oh, I'll fuck it up too. I think Shandling was like a kid, and he was just getting interested in writing for comedy. But he had a bunch of raw material that, right, I think it was that he wanted to I guess have George Carlin read, so that he drove to wherever he was playing, and after the show went up to him and said, "Mr. Carlin, I'm Gary Shandling. I'm just starting out in comedy, but I'd like for you to, see, I wrote a bunch of jokes and I want you to see what you think of them." And he, I guess, critiqued it and read it and gave him advice. But I guess I'm fucking up the story because you have a punchline that I'm not getting to.
No, I'll get it. So yeah, so Shandling's a sophomore structural engineer, electronic engineer, but he really wanted to get into comedy. And Carlin used to be huge, and on the talk shows and all of this stuff. And he and this is when he had transitioned out of it, and he hadn't hit it big the second time around. He was in that phase. So he's playing 2+ hours away at a small venue, and Gary Shandling finds out. He drives like the 2+ hours there, gets to talk to him, and Carlin's like, "Yeah, leave your stuff here, and come back tomorrow, and I'll let you know what my thoughts are." And he gets back, drives it 2.5 hours home, comes back the next day, and every joke had a note in it. Like he didn't just read and say, "Oh, this is good. You might want to work on this." Like Gary Shandling could never get over the fact that a real, true, absolute giant hero of his took the time to methodically go joke by joke and basically say, "Well, this is good. Maybe think of this. This is good." It's my favorite part of that documentary that Gary Shandling has. And, and Jed Apatow did that. And so now it's kind of like, for Jed Apatow to do this for George Carlin, I think it's great. I mean, he does great work. I loved what he did with Gary Shandling. That was very, very, very personal for Jed Apatow. So I don't know if he had much of a connection or spent much time with George Carlin, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, but I want to reiterate, when I said I was there live watching George Carlin, I meant in my home watching it on HBO during the live broadcast, not physically live.
Because you would have been like 12, 13.
Yeah, I was like 14, right?
14, yeah, okay.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And no, and I told Joe, it's like, yeah, we're gonna watch this together. Like, don't we'll watch it. We'll watch that together. I am
gonna cheat on you with it though. I'm gonna watch it before you get a chance to watch it.
You bastard.
Hey, sorry.
You bastard. I gotta watch the Kids in the Hall first. No, I'm really so I'll tell you, little sidebar here. So the wife had me sit down and watch Colbert the other night because Jed Apatow came on to talk about it. And it didn't get, Jed Apatow wasn't nasty, but him and the guy before him, and I can't even think of his name, but he's one of 20 people who worked in the last administration who wrote a book about how awful it was, and how and I think the title of all these people's book were, "Oh, you think it was bad? It could have been so much fucking worse." And each one of these motherfuckers says, "Oh, well, if I wasn't there, I stopped him from doing this and this, and I stopped him from doing this or this." And it's like, why are we hearing about it 3 years later? Like if this was so bad, if you were really concerned that he was asking to shoot protesters in the leg, not kill them, but just like wound him, just shoot him in the leg, and you had to talk him out of, ordering the National Guard to start shooting peaceful protesters in the leg, why didn't you go screaming to the media that, oh, wait, you had to write a book? And then so that guy went on, and then, he went off, and Colbert kind of called him out, said, hey, would have been nice if you said this 3 years ago. And the same, well, if I left, the guy who might have replaced me, might have let him do all these things. And he got the, okay, whatever. And then, and then Colbert kind of set Apatow up for it. It's like, so what do you think Carlin would have thought of the last guest kind of thing? He's like, and he didn't go scorched earth, but he made it really fucking clear that, yeah, you're not a fucking patriot.
You're talking about Mark Esper.
A douchebag. Yeah. I mean, I put all those guys in like, the category. I don't even want to utter their names and give them the, the time of day. But on a happy note, we got the New Kids in the Hall. We got a New Kids in the Hall documentary. We got Norm MacDonald, who left as a going away president, and we got a great Carlin thing that I'm hoping to watch together. And we got Elon Musk still trying to buy Twitter. That's been going on for a while now. Do you guys even care? You're pretty much off everything, right, Joe?
I'm on Twitter. I'm literally on Twitter right now. I'm not kidding.
But you don't post anything.
No, not really. I mean, I like a lot of things, but I don't post or hardly retweet anything because I don't even want to be on this podcast. But luckily, I don't consider this podcast to be an actual medium of anything of significance.
It's not
just chatting with friends. Just me, you, and Biff.
So, me, you, and Biff, we're only talking about it for a second. Another horrible shooting this week. The worst part about this is this person was a proud white supremacist who went out of his way. I know the Buffalo area, and as soon as I saw the screenshots of like, oh, Tops, it's like, that's their market basket. That's their Ralph's. Tops is the big, the chain there. And the worst part is like, 10 people shot. The second worst thing is, the people who could not stop it, but curve it are not standing up. And I hate the fucking fact that the only person in that party standing up saying, yeah, we got to distance ourselves from white supremacists is Liz Cheney. She's being the voice of reason. And again, she was really clear.
To be fair, Darth Vader's daughter was Princess Leia.
Oh,
so not to the same extent.
All right.
Not to the same extent, but
bastard.
I'm just saying,
Wow, you jot that down really nicely there, Biff.
I'm just saying,
But yeah, I mean, it was another horrible thing.
Listen, I think the thing that's really horrible about it is that it's kind of like, this is going as planned kind of a thing, because one of the things I read later after the incident is that the community had to fight to get that Tops because that place was apparently an absolute food desert.
Yeah.
And they shut that Tops down after the shooting. And I'm like, what? It's like, like these people in the community can't basically catch any breaks.
Right.
And that's what they're doing, right? I mean, this is what they're doing.
And it's like Kyle Rittenhouse driving to another state so he could shoot somebody. This motherfucker drove, a great distance. He wrote what he wrote on his gun. He posted his manifesto. This was not
this is so much worse than Rittenhouse, because Rittenhouse is just an idiot kid thinking that, oh yeah, I'm just gonna, go rah these asshole.
Oh no, there's so much worse. Right. It's so much worse that it was planned, and that he put. And again, it's like that there was no red flag. I mean, the kid like a year ago was like, he cited for either making threats or something, at his school. They were worried that he was going to shoot up his school. And after he was investigated for that, he was able to legally buy all these weapons and the body armor and the whole replacement theory and stuff like that, where nobody from that party is standing up saying, guys, it's getting out of control. It's like, no, you're not being replaced. No, that on one hand, you have them pushing. It's funny because Tucker Carlson has like tried to distance himself from this, and somebody, I saw it on Twitter, had streamed together the 400 times he had mentioned replacement theory and like the last year. And he does the Tucker Carlson thing. It's like, I'm just saying people are talking about this. You know what I mean? He's not saying he believes in it, but he put it out there.
Well, he's people too. So people, he's not lying. People are talking about it. And speaking of streaming things, I love how the governor of New York immediately, jumped on. I don't know about her. She's kind of a piece of work, but immediately after the shooting, she gets on and talks about how we have to control or regulate or get these streaming platforms, these social media platforms, to act faster, to disable the live streams of these terrible shootings. Like, that's the root of the problem. And by the way, it was streamed on Twitch. Twitch took it down in less than 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes. Yes, it was horrible that it was live streamed. Yes, it was horrible that it got on. But if you're, unless you want like extreme, artificial intelligence infiltrating everything that's on, a streaming platform, and then, detecting what can be seen and what can't be seen, things like this are bound to happen. But the point of the matter is that the immediate pivot between gun control and, live stream control in politics is just disgusting.
But to be fair, right? Because obviously, we're done blaming the video games, so we have to now.
Oh no, we're not done with that. we are not done with that. It's still the video games, Biff. I mean, I look at the wall behind Joe, and I'm like thinking, problem right there.
Yeah,
no, but they're still blaming video games,
right? And Twitch is a live stream for mostly video gamers. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. But hey, you know what? On to the next one, right?
Oh, well, I don't even want to talk about the Roe versus Wade thing, except for the fact I got into a fight with my beloved wife, then girlfriend, when she moved in 2003, and during the that election cycle, we got into a conversation, and I said, I said within the next 20 years it's going away, and the audacity that I think that could ever happen pissed her off. We got not a knockdown drag out, but I'm like, look, this is what I'm seeing, and these are the judges, and this is how they're doing it, and blah blah blah. This, and I'm like, yeah, I'm minored in political science. The writing was there, you know what I mean? And it was trending towards that. And like the last 5 years, we all know what happened with SCOTUS and all of this stuff. And the thing that is so disgusting is we've all said the same thing, that, for the last 50 years, every chance to feed a hungry child, they vote down. Every chance to, whether it's a WIC program, whether it's this, or whether it's like, oh, we're going to drug test the parents, and if they don't pass, we're going to cut off the food. It's like, okay, you realize the 3-year-old at home has nothing to do with mom's meth problem. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, so that's how you're going to punish him. It's like, okay, you'll starve the children. And in the same week that it leaks out that, yeah, they're getting ready to overturn this, there was a vote in the House on Thursday, and I think only four, right? Only 4 Republicans voted for the Emergency Act for the baby. They want to go on Fox News saying it's Biden's fault that there's a baby formula shortage. They want to go on the news saying, how dare we give it to the brown children? Sure, the brown children are in cages on the southern border, and the moms can't go to the store and buy it because, they're essentially prisoners. But those children shouldn't get it, into the white babies do. But only four of, I want to say it's 198 Republicans, 202, something like that, in the House of Representatives. Right. Only 4 voted to, put the Emergency Act for it. Luckily it passed, but in the same week, they're forcing, forced pregnancies in all these states that already have the legislation waiting to go the day SCOTUS overturns this. Zero exceptions. So it's just disgusting. It's horrible. And if anybody wants to make an argument how the GOP doesn't hate poor people, doesn't hate women, and doesn't hate children, I love to hear it. I'm all ears, but don't, listen to what they say. Look at what they do. And we are in the Handmaid's Tales. Thank God that we're all, straight, mostly white. Sorry, Biff, but mostly white, middle-aged.
Hey, guess what?
guys.
I thought you were going to say me.
Guess what? Also not American, so I can leave this country and go somewhere.
Yeah, you have like 3 other countries to choose from. I mean, it's pretty great.
My 2 questions to you, Biff, are why the fuck don't you? And will you take Joe and I with you?
I mean, listen,
I
the
can be
only
Canadian,
reason why that becomes this whole thing becomes a factor is because people, for some reason, people that look like me apparently just arbitrarily get picked on to be beaten up and stuff. So so that stuff's not
I'm not sure that's just, but I remember during the whole Anchor Baby thing, like a few years back, when that like little slice of racist like bumper sticker politics made its way into the lexicon. And we have a really good friend, Guitar Center Scotty from Hamilton, whose wife is she's from Tokyo.
No,
she's not from Tokyo.
Kobe area, I want to say. Yeah.
Where they make the beef, right?
Well, not exactly in the city, but sure. It's that area actually.
And he has, his boys are about the same age as my boys. And I remember just laying into him one Friday at hockey saying, you and your fucking Anchor Babies, you're here to take advantage of our school. You're here to milk off our healthcare. Hey, why are you guys here?
I guess they really want guns.
Oh man, but honestly, it is, it is.
And hey, I'm kind of jealous of some of these people because if people were to tell me to go back to my country, I got to go back to America, and that sucks.
That really sucked.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wish I
man.
had another option.
But the last awful thing I wanted to just touch on is, when there's no consequences. When my 12-year-old fucks up, if there's no consequences, he does the same thing. So when Clarence is that a pube on your Coke can Thomas was the one dissenting vote when SCOTUS, what was it, like 6 months ago, when the January 6th committee said, hey, we'd like to get access to everybody's phone records, and it went to the Supreme Court, and 8 of the 9 justices said, yeah, that makes sense. The Senate or the House of Representatives wants to do an investigation. Sure, we'll let you guys have that. There was one dissenting vote, and it was Clarence Thomas. And now it turns out that his wife was actively, and we knew on January 6th that she paid for buses. Right. We knew that she paid for, part of the event to happen. We did not know how deep it ran, that she was honestly in the trenches working with the White House trying to overturn it. Nothing's happened since that's come to light. Like nothing has happened. No charges, no investigation. The Justice Department hasn't weighed in on it. And now, as we record this afternoon, she was publicly lobbying the governor of Arizona to decertify Joe Biden, which again, Arizona did 3 recounts, and every time they did a recount, they found a couple hundred more here for Joe, a couple hundred more there. But then they bring in that, that company, the ninja one, whatever. And for 2 months, they broke the Constitution and let a private company have access to the actual physical ballots. They
bent the Constitution. They put it back.
A little Scotch tape never hurt anybody. But then it was like something like $25-30 million. They charged the state of Arizona, and they found cue the crickets, nothing. And so here it is after 4 recounts. She's still trying to decertify the election, and nobody's doing of all the awfulness of the last 6 years with that crime syndicate, because of who she's married to, because of who she had direct access to and does have direct access to. I think this is the worst thing not being prosecuted, but I'm going to shut up now.
I mean,
great.
Why don't the Democrats do squat? They don't do squat. They always.
They can't. They can't do anything, Biff. It's like that's the whole problem. It's like
I'm just saying, in general, they don't do squat.
No,
right?
See that right there is the thing that pisses me off most, because when people say they don't do anything, if there's 100 senators and 49 senators from the Democratic Party
This
are
is
trying
true,
to do something,
Yeah.
and there's 50 Republicans trying to push against it, it's one person, but that one or two person, that other person from Arizona, those two. So yes,
That's true.
there's Cory Booker, there's Elizabeth Warren. You go down the
Yeah.
fucking list. There's
That's true.
48 people trying to get shit done, but all it takes is two from that party who shouldn't be in the party fighting against it. Absolutely,
But,
every single turn.
I guess my thought is that that's now, right?
Yeah.
Like, they back when Obama was in charge and they had control.
He wasn't in charge. Like literally, like because
he had that one time when he was, right. That's why Obamacare passed, right?
Right, it was literally less than a 6-month window, because that's when Ted Kennedy did the dirt nap. There was a runoff election and Scott Brown won it. So he literally had the Senate less than 6 months, than 6 months. And don't forget, when he came into the White House, the Republicans controlled the Senate and the House. And that's when Mitch McConnell publicly
either way, go ahead and defend those Democrats all you want. But it seems to me that the other guy just threw in all kinds of executive orders that apparently somehow can't be just reversed by the current, I don't understand how an executive order by one president just can't be reversed by another president, but I'm not a constitutional scholar.
No, because they tried to do that even today. The title, forgive me, title something, that act that, the reason that people are in the prison camps on the southern border is because of an executive order that a federal judge upheld today and said Biden could not overturn it. So we're not civics professors, but
I think the long and the short of it is, it seems like the Democrats aren't doing anything, but the fact of the matter is that the cards are so stacked against the Democrats by the Republicans over years and decades of just, constructing this system where, okay, so if we lose legislative, at least we have the judicial branch that'll overrule
everything. Everything.
That's fair. But
so,
are you going to tell me that you are happy with the way the Democrats have been running everything, including how they run their election campaigns, how they message, how they
they're horrible. They're horrible with messaging. Thank God the Lincoln Project is around. Maybe people from the Lincoln Project can
even the Lincoln Project. When you're going to hang our hats on the Lincoln Project,
right? But that's how. No, look. The thing is, let's go down the list. It's like pro-life, anchor babies. They are so good at bumper sticker messaging, and they have been so good at it for so fucking long.
Well, I think we could just settle it this way. It's a lot easier to pander to fear than it is to make change. And that's what Democrats are supposed to do. They're supposed to inspire change. They're supposed to say, hey, white people, you're not supposed to say the N-word. Well, I want to say whatever I want. That's always going to win. And that's always going to be the harder fight to fight. Well, and that's always going to, that's why Democrats are always going to be the underdog and always appear to be weaker than the Republicans. End of list. What did you watch this week?
I'll tell you what I watched. I watched some crime going down, and I watched some crime going down in Japan. Couldn't 100% tell what it was, but I think it was. Is it just parking violations that you said?
Parking violations are serious. Come on.
Apparently, you sent me a 19-minute clip.
You know what's amazing about parking violations in Japan is that you get the parking violation, and then so people get parking violations in this country, and what do people do?
You pay your ticket, or you ignore it, and you get the boot
you
on
blow
your
it
car.
off, right?
Yeah.
In Japan, if you don't blow it off, there are people who visit you to collect the money.
Yeah. That's what was going on.
They come to your house and collect the money.
It's like a parking yakuza. It's just
but it's not even because
Parkuza?
The Parkuza. Yeah, the Parkuza.
That's the thing. They're super, super courteous.
Oh, okay.
It's
like
so
Mormon.
Weird.
You can go Canadian.
Okay.
So yeah.
I couldn't. The other clip wouldn't play. How do you get clips to play? Do you have like some
what happens is that the network kind of gives each item a cycle. So essentially, after a while they said, you know what, we're done showing this stuff, and then they
then
turn it
pull it.
private.
Because I looked at it right away. Hey,
Yeah.
we glossed over. We didn't talk about like the Ukraine. It still sucks. Putin's an asshole. What do you
Yeah.
guys think about Finland and Sweden now deciding, you know what? Yeah, maybe we should be in NATO.
I don't know that it's like so. I mean, both of those countries are pretty well like they have a pretty good defense system, but I think this is kind of a combination of a reinforcement and messaging, right? I mean,
I think so. Right.
that's what I understand. So,
And what does NATO do really?
yeah.
No. The only time, what is it? Something 11. Is it chapter 11? No, that's
9/11. You're
bankruptcy.
thinking of 9/11.
No. It's Article 11.
7-11.
Article 11 on
7/11.
9/11. The only time the NATO Article 11 was enacted is when the rest of NATO came to our aid and the Gulf War. Which, by the way, please tell me you guys saw that gaffe with our good old friend George Bush this week.
Wait, did I not send that out, or?
Yeah, that was on one of the text threads.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I didn't watch it.
Absolutely.
I just read the caption and I just imagined it in my mind. I imagined actually Will Ferrell doing it, and it was a lot funnier.
Oh man. So you also put this on the campaign, the 2022 campaign.
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
Oh my God. So Elise Stefanik, I guess she's essentially running for re-election in the state of New York, a congresswoman from New York. Apparently she didn't secure the site Stefanik 2022 or something like that. And so one of the writers from South Park bought it, and it has a website that basically just I mean it's so it's obviously you can imagine what's in there, but
it looks very. I
Yeah,
scrolled through the whole
very well
site.
done. Yeah,
I scrolled through the whole site. They
Like,
they spent
what
some
the-
time building
Yeah.
this site. I'm white. If you didn't know that,
No,
I'm
that-
mostly white, and by mostly white, I mean I'm white.
Looking fantastic stuff.
Is her bio? Oh, it is. I will I always say I'm going to post up, but I will definitely post that.
Is it Elise Stefanik 2022?
Yeah.
Our little racist is all grown up now.
Yeah.
Isn't it brilliant? It's just delicious.
Awesome.
And so, we'll jump a little ahead in sports here. You got a hockey dad, Tom Brady, suddenly bold and is challenging LeBron James.
Did
hockey
you see
game.
that? Did you
Yeah.
see the Twitter exchange?
I did.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. I mean, and it just, yeah.
I
But
wonder how much hockey. I wonder how much hockey, Tom Brady has played in his life.
He's a California kid.
Northern California, but
Yeah,
maybe when he was in Michigan, maybe he played a little.
I don't think they'll let you play, right? I mean, if you're playing football, I don't think they want you playing just casual beginner hockey. I would take a wild guess.
So I have nothing here for self-indulgent theater. I didn't preface Joe, so you got something right on the spot that you can run wild with, Joe. You want to go through your favorite, Oh, I pulled. My wife is really great at we'll watch a movie and some background character should be like, oh, stop it, that person, and it's creepy. I'm watching Kids in the Hall. I think it's episode 7. And there was a woman in it, and I'm like, holy shit, that is the waitress from the diner in Tommy Boy. And management stopped it, looked it up.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was. It
Well,
was
yeah,
her.
I mean that's an easy one. I
But
mean,
dude, that's
great.
when was Tommy Boy? That's 20 years ago.
1995, it was like the same year that Kids in the Hall was canceled.
Yeah. So anyways, I was pretty proud of that.
I'm surprised she was still around. Jeez, then good for her.
Looks just as good as she did in Tommy Boy.
Bless her heart.
But if we don't have any of that, what you got anything game? What are you playing this week, Joe? What's
Nothing.
happening down in the Lyceum?
Oh God, not a whole lot. I'm just putzing around on my Nintendo DS. I'm going old school with my handheld systems and just playing Picross because I'm an old man and I've given up. I've given up on life.
What is Picross?
It's like it's a logic puzzle game where you're supposed to like fill in there's like a grid and it has numbers on the borders and it tells you the order of where the dots are that you're supposed to fill them, and you paint a picture at the end of the puzzle. And it's a big waste of time, but I listen to podcasts while I do it. That's all I'm mainly really be doing is listening to podcasts.
I was so bummed to find out that like I didn't know that we don't have a Wii anymore because we used to have a Wii, or and I used to play it every once in a while, and I got busy. I hadn't played it in a while, and apparently that Wii doesn't exist anymore. So, but we had a garage sale. I could say no to giving up my copy of Bomberman World.
Yeah, Bomberman Land. Good for you. Yeah, you got. So hold on to that. That game, because I'm sure that. Jacques, can't you just bring a Wii to him when you go to visit him?
Did I give you my Wii at the
I have a Wii. Thing? I do. You gave me a broken Wii U, which I fixed.
The Wii U. Okay.
Yeah. But the Wii U plays Wii games. It's a backwards compatible. So, anyways, Biff, I got 7 Wiis. If you want one,
we'll figure it out.
No.
We will hook you up.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy one of those like stand-up arcade things with Dig Dug on it. That's
yeah. Well. But see, this is the thing, Biff. I know where you live.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know, look, think these things through. And if you get it, maybe not make it public knowledge.
I have to see like how dedicated you are, because if I have to, I will cook an entire lamb.
Oh, I've when we lived in Qatar, it was the 3 Greek families.
Yeah.
Once a year did that. And it was one of those things where I was very polite, but they asked because everybody, there was a big block party and everybody was taking turns turning, the lamb. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to take a pass on this. Like, we're just going to hang out here.
Well, I know you don't eat meat,
but to see a full lamb on it, it was like that. Look, most things don't bother me. You know what I mean? It's like, I get it. I get, that, but when you see that, it's like, yeah,
I've been to a pig roast.
Oh,
that's I don't know. It was, at least it was split open, so I could barely tell it was a pig. But it tasted delicious.
So
yeah.
The other day, I had my heart broken around the same time. About 3 hours later, Biff had his heart broken, and then about 3 hours later, Biff, I, and the rest of the F&H crew had our hearts broken yet again. I mean, did you ever get a chance to tape your heart back together before having it broken again?
I'll be honest with you. I'm at that point though, like as I mentioned, I'm okay with these playoff losses by and large, because I never thought I would witness a team that I actually love win a Stanley Cup. And I was actually, and of course you were there.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, no,
I was there to watch the LA Kings raise their first Stanley Cup, and after that, all of the other playoff losses don't hit quite as hard.
I'll be honest. It's like I agree, but still, in the course of, of course there was 5 Game 7s in 30 hours from start to finish. It was about basically, a 30-hour window, and the Bruins, and dude, that was a hard loss. And look, I know I'm a homer. When the Celtics lost a Game 7 to the Lakers, what was that? Like their last time around, about 8-9 years ago. In the fourth quarter, the Lakers got 32 free throws to the Celtics 8. And it was like, yeah, it's kind of hard. Same thing for the Bruins to have, 6 penalties before before they got one. And that one penalty was shooting the puck out of the rink. You have to call it. Like Pasta got the guy left his skates, elbow Pasta in the face, no call. The guy gets a $5,000 fine the next day, but no call. Anyways, it broke my heart. 3-2. I mean, but the better team won. I can honestly say, the Bruins had every chance. But the better team did win. I hope Patrice Bergeron. I'm not bitter against I honestly, given the choice of Toronto and the Rangers, I was pulling for your Toronto to go the next step. Dude, I can't believe
Tampa.
I can't believe how
Toronto,
long Toronto, Tampa, right? Like Tampa's won enough. I can't believe the playoff drought. And I'm not talking this, 1967. I honestly
haven't won a first round
realize.
Since 2004. Yeah.
Dude, that's painful. That's it, the city that hosts the Hall of Fame. And then of course, 3 hours later, our beloved Kings, and
that one is, I mean, I'm surprised that they went to 7 games.
Dude, I'm surprised. Look, they were a bubble team till the last couple of weeks of the playoffs. But in the course of from start to finish, from the drop of the puck of the Bruins game to the last horn of the Kings game, and a 10-hour window, our 3 teams
Yeah.
all out of it, and then the next day 2 more games. So,
but I'll say, I think the one thing with the Bruins, the big question right now is obviously Patrice Bergeron, right? So whether he'll retire or not, and it's like, God, I mean, I really think that he's got probably a good 3 solid years if he wants to.
Dude, if you look at his points, you look at his face-offs, you look at everything. Yeah, no, he's got at least 3 solid years.
It's the only thing that's kind of gone down a little bit is the face-off.
No,
everything
just in this series. You look at him all year round. You look at his stats all year. Stahl had his number.
It's good. Yeah,
Stahl had his number all year. I guarantee you, Patrice Bergeron is top 10 in face-offs.
Stahl. He's top 10.
Thick.
But he wasn't the.
Stahl just had his number. But
everything else, he was actually this was one of his best seasons ever. But I think it's still
right. But that's it. I mean, it's crazy. It's like it's one of his, and I will at his press conference, he flat out said, "I'm either going to retire or I'm coming back a Bruin, but I'm not going anywhere because he's not under contract." And he's like,
"Yeah." Well, the big thing is, I guess all his kids were there at that last game. Yeah. Right. Apparently, just the way he hugged everybody on the team. Right?
Marchand is distraught. Right? Like if you've heard Marchand in his post game, I think he's gone. Marchand thinks he's gone. I'm crushed.
He's definitely prepared himself for that to be the last game. I think I believe him when he says he really hasn't made his decision, but it's possible. I think this is a grind, right? It's a grind.
And Joe, bring us up to what's happening in the Celtics.
Well, they're tied 1-1, right? Or did they win last?
They're 1-1. Yeah.
So they're tied 1-1. I actually watched Game 7 last.
Dude, I watched the whole fourth quarter, and I'll be honest. Winning time has brought me a little back into basketball. Winning time has brought me.
How much of a dick do they make Larry Bird on winning time? And how great is it?
Well,
I'll tell you. They make Larry Bird a dick, yes, but there was an awful moment of racism that was not attributed to Larry, but somebody in his family, and you heard Larry basically be like he wasn't a social justice warrior, but he was like basically he's like shut the fuck up, and it's true, and I hope that I hope in season 2, which by the way, spoiler alert, the Lakers won the first championship. The next year, Larry wins, and they don't play head to head.
Now I can't watch that anymore.
They don't play head to head until 1984. Yeah. But Larry Bird and Magic Johnson became friends, not frenemies.
Yeah.
And the respect that those guys had for each other was phenomenal, to the point where Magic mid to late 80s ended up going to French Lick and working out with Larry Bird in the off season because funny. I mean, I'm just
imagining going to French Lick of all places, right?
Well, you saw, I mean, they portrayed it. It's like here Magic, Larry Bird lost in the conference finals his rookie year. Magic is playing in the finals. And after watching the game, 1-2 o'clock in the morning, Larry Bird was out there working, and he relentlessly, he would take a couple days off at the end of the season and then put in the 8 to 10 hours every day training, but anyways, no, it's been fun. I've been actually watching it. The Celtics team has a little personality.
So is it the, whatchamacallit, is it like
conference finals?
No. I'm saying that, is it the Converse, like they did the Converse ad together, like they were, even though they appeared as whatever, is that how they kind of like got to know each other? Because they only play each other like twice a year, right?
And
so that's why.
But
I guess they never went over the specifics of
that. Former podcast guest Ross Salowich, Professor Ross Salowich.
Yeah.
We would go to lots of Celtics games when he was a grad student at Harvard, and I'm telling you, it was crazy. And the series kind of got this right. It's game 1, the 1981 season. They're not going to be playing each other till game 45. And it doesn't matter who the Celtics were tipping off against game 1 in October. The entire 18,541 people at the Garden were chanting "Beat LA, beat LA," like months before they play each other, even in the regular season.
Right.
And those teams were so great that it was, but funny enough, like they only played each other twice in that era in the 80s because there were so many other great teams that they had to get through. I bored everybody. But there we go. And moving on to, okay, I talked about what I'm watching. What are you watching this week, Biff? Other than hockey?
No, you know what? I'll be honest. I started watching. Now I can't remember the name. Everyone Here is Dead. Is that what it's called? It's a Korean zombie movie, I believe. Series, I believe.
So on Netflix.
On Netflix, yeah. So actually, I kind of saw it, and then my son goes, that's actually pretty good. So I started watching it. So I'm going to try to keep kind of. Eventually, what's going to happen is that hockey's going to go to every other day. So when it goes to every other day, I'll try to watch this every other day.
All of us are dead.
Nice.
Okay, there you go.
And what about you, Joe?
What am I watching? You know what? I'm back on Better Call Saul season. I'm slacking. I'm all over the place with my viewing because I'm listening to my podcasts and just sort of staring off into the abyss that is my life. But when I'm not doing that, I do check in on like Barry on HBO. That's also
starring our friend Al from Friday Night.
That's what I hear. I now have to watch that shit. But it's on HBO. It's on HBO.
Yeah. Yep. Our friend Al is in background. Again, former guest of Carnival Personnel Podcast. We did a sideshow with Al, but he about a year and a half ago got into being an extra. He retired. Friend suggested it. He's loving it, and he did Barry. He's I sent a little clip to everybody. So he sent me a clip, and then I watched it, and I sent you guys a clip. So, anyways, he's making the whole series come together. Is what I'm saying, Joe. Him standing in the background in that one scene.
They call him the glue.
There you go. There you go.
Oh,
but yeah, just I'm I'm actually like I'm listening to an animation podcast, like old, like 80s and 90s and animation, and I'm like checking out, just like going back to old like Simpsons and old like Futurama, Family Guys, like just older stuff. I started watching Akira again. Do you know Akira, right?
Yeah. I never watched it.
It's weird.
I just saw a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird ass movie, but it's so good looking. But so I'm regressing is what the bottom line is. I'm regressing. I'm not advancing. And yeah, that's it.
And me, I'm the only other thing I'm kind of watching, like Hacks has started back up, which is okay. It's fun. Hacks and Our Flag Means Death. It is a pirate show by Taika Waititi, and it is fucking brilliant. And our friend Sully's wife recommended it, and I'm like the other day, I'm like, yeah, I'll check it out, and about halfway through the first episode, I'm like, oh, this is pretty great. It's a pirate comedy that Taika is in, and it's like it's that's the only other thing that I'm watching. But now the thing that people tune in for most, parenting tips. What do you got, Joe?
Well, I do have a very good parenting tip, but it's right down here. Let me grab it. You guys give your parenting tips first, and while you find it. Yeah.
All right. What do you got, Biff?
Yeah, you know what? I think my son might be getting me Popeyes tonight. So yeah, get a son that'll go get your food. That's it.
My parenting tip is, for the first time since the advent of COVID, I'm getting on a plane tomorrow. I'm quite nervous about it, as is my son. But my parenting tip is, tell him it's like, yeah, it is time to kind of come out of the bubble a little bit, but let's be smart about it. So he got his booster, in preparation for the trip a couple of weeks ago. I got my second booster, and we're going to double mask. So it's like, it's like, you know, we had the father and son COVID, back in January. So between already having it and me being double boosted and stuff, so my parenting tip is, tell them it's like, we can start easing back into it, but let's not be stupid. So
that's good.
That's it. And now, now I drop something, and I'm gonna pick it up while you guys wrap this thing up.
Guys, I'm gonna give it all to Joe, our guest. Take it away, Joe.
Thanks, Biff. We've had a lot of fun here on Carnival Personnel these past 60 minutes. But really, what have we learned? We've learned that I'm a bad parent. We've learned that Biff has 3 citizenships, I think. And
no, I only have 1.
And we learned that Jacques is going to die on an airplane from monkeypox and never return. So you've just listened to the final podcast of Carnival Personnel. But let's get played out with an old friend of ours. Her name's Melanie, and it's a little song. I hope you like it as much as I do. It's called Brand New Key. Well, I've got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. I would like to be the Don't forget.
Another day is dying on the vine as I sit waiting for a sign.